You're up.
Okay, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. We're 1 minute early, but let everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So far, we don't have bills, so I guess Carol will be. We got Carol on the board.
Thank you, John.
And mine's here.
No.
Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Did you send that out, Delana, to everybody, or did we not? Adding that change.
Okay, I see one that needs, the Devlin Polkadorn short-term rental application was withdrawn.
I thought I deleted that.
No, I still have it.
You deleted it off the agenda, but I had already given out the books. Oh, okay.
Which one?
G. 7G.
Any other amendments to the agenda? If not, minutes from the previous meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to them?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Old business. The VOC decision regarding Monterey subdivision due to county road reimbursement for $400 application fee.
That has been approved and the refund has been granted.
Decision regarding Booth's short-term rental permit.
They were granted their short-term rental, they approved it.
Okay. Any other old business? Not, we'll move on to new business. We've got elections.
Your nomination.
Huh?
Your nomination.
Yeah, we need, I don't know, I'll let Dorothy run.
Okay, so we'll start with oral nominations and then do a paper ballot.
Nominate Keith for chair.
Second.
Any other nominations?
We'll give you one.
I don't think so.
Do I read each one, or do you just want me to count them?
Just count them.
Okay. So we had 7 votes and 7 votes for Keith Ray to be the chairman. Vice chair?
Nominate Skip. He's not sure.
I would second.
Any other nominations?
Yeah, bucks at the end. You give me $100 at the end of the meeting.
What's called a ticket, tip jar, you can do this. Yesterday was a collection plate at church, today tip jar.
We had 7 votes and all votes, 7 votes for Skip Norcross to be the vice chair. And then I can't remember, secretary, is that just, can I hand it over to you for that?
It's 5 points. 5 points.
Does anybody else want to do it?
I would think, but then I decided to take it before
I don't know.
So we'll have Mary, Mallory as our secretary.
I would say that Mary does an excellent job.
Yes.
Things straight. Okay, posting location for the planning commission.
We post the, public notices, it goes in the paper with a public notice, and then we also post it out on the board. There's a glass board that it's in, it's been that way for many, many years, so it's right in the hallway as you walk into the county building.
I would move that we maintain the same posting place.
We can do this.
Do we have to specify which paper, or are we still under obligation for that?
We're under obligation to the commissioners, whichever one they pick.
It's the commissioner's ticket. Okay.
Yeah, we don't get a choice. We tried that one year and it didn't work.
Okay. So paper for the commissioners.
Yeah.
Do you have to vote?
Yes, it's been moved and seconded to post in the hallway out here. It's been seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on to our STR applications. Brush Creek Holdings LLC. I guess we've got a full planning commission. Our applicant presentation.
Hi there, thanks for having me. I'm Ashley Blazer. I'm just going to read my statement. So Mountain Meadows Ranch, this is the one over by Brush Creek, properties over there, has been a family-owned retreat since 1988. The Berry family originally owned this land and graciously sold it to my parents, Carol Parker and Gary Adams, after my grandfather, Bob Parker, had recently sold Trails End Ranch after 25 years. My family's had significant love for Westcliff over the 50 years and counting. County. Several years ago, my husband and I took over this special property and are the sole owners of Mountain Meadows. Part of why we moved to Cherokee County in 2004 was to be closer to this property and to Westcliff. We currently live in Buena Vista as our primary residence. As we look to the future, we want to continue to steward the property well and would like to selectively share this property. Any income generated will continue to help care for and improve the property. This is why we're applying for the short-term rental. It continues to be a special place that our family loves and cherishes, and we look forward to inviting others in which we choose to share this amazing place. Thank you for considering this application, and know that our selective process will ensure that those small groups and small families will enjoy the beauty of the property and respectfully respect our neighbors while they're guests there. Thank you.
I guess we need, letters.
We have several letters for this property. The first one is from Carrie Morris. They are adjoining neighbor within 300 yards, full-time resident. Made suggestions directly to Brush Creek Holdings, and the suggestions were added to the rules. They no longer object to the STR. Ivy Thorpe, adjoining neighbor within 300 yards, full-time resident, objects to the STR, no reason given. Tina Garris, adjoining neighbor within 300 yards, full-time residents, concerns with ATVs and dirt bikes, suggestions were added to house rules, they no longer object to the STR. One joint letter from 3 adjoining landowners, Patterson, Wilson, and Berry. They oppose to the STR. They feel that it will alter the character of the community, conflict with livestock. Property was sold by the Berries to Atkins parents with the intention for it to be a family home and place of retreat. Deep concerns that approval would pose fundamental and undue complications in neighbors, infrastructure, and community. Increased traffic, noise, unfamiliar animals, trespassing, and risk of fires. The next one is Daniel and Lori Fox, adjoining neighbor within 300 yards, full-time resident. They feel that it would change the atmosphere of the neighborhood, open up more STRs in the neighborhood. STRs do not always follow the rules. They're concerned about the fire danger, traffic, noise, lower property value, and uncontrolled dogs. And Michael Leonard, adjoining neighbor within 300 yards, full-time resident. They don't agree with the commercial operation, traffic, fire danger, strangers in the area, and renters do not always follow the rules.
Okay, public comment? That's you.
Can I just talk from here?
No, we'd rather you came up here. Give us your name.
Rita Wilson. Hi, my name is Rita Wilson, Rita Berry Wilson. I'm representing the 3 families, Berry, Patterson, and Wilson. My brother and sister and I we still run the ranch as a ranch, just as it was when my parents had it. We don't have boundary lines, we haven't changed fence lines, we run it as a ranch. Our families own that piece of property or up to the mountains since 1902. Over the years, Mom and Dad had to sell some, and they explicitly sold this thinking it would go to a small family. At that time, the girls were young, and that's what they expected it would stay. I know if they thought it was gonna come to a commercial operation, it wouldn't have been sold. So we just want to say we keep it that way. Our great uncle had some property before my dad owned it, and he left it to my family because he knew we would be good stewards and keep it as a ranch. Where some of the relatives, if they had inherited it, would have sold it immediately. And that's what we try to hang on to and just keep it as a ranch. And in our community, we have great neighbors, Perry, Foxes, are the ones we see the most. We try to be respectful property owners. We try to call them when we have to go through ditches. We try to let blazers know when we have to go through. We have a really good community, and we just want to kind of keep that consistent ranch, farm atmosphere. And we have had, a lady was walking behind my sister's house one day with a dog, and my husband pulled in and said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, they were renting up the road." And she said, "Well, the gate was open." So, I mean, that's our experience with short-term rentals, is she was somewhere up the road saying that she walked down our county road and saw the gate open, and she just thought, even though we had no trespassing signs because the gate was open, she thought that was okay. So we just want to keep our community as is. Thank you for your consideration and time.
Any other public comment? Comments from the site visit?
We did not have the site visit, we canceled it due to the weather.
Oh, that's right. Any comments from
I have nothing,
the office?
nothing further.
Okay, questions from the planning commission?
Thanks. I'd like to know if, per the zoning resolution, if the property boundaries are marked.
Yes. From when it's marked with, barbed wire fence
All the way around?
yes, it is. So the gate that we come to.
Carol?
Actually, selectively shared. Does that mean it's not gonna be on there in the VRBO, or people that you know, but you're charging them?
We would, yes, we would start.
You're gonna charge them? So you'd start, so does that mean that you're already doing this?
Oh, I would say that right now we have, in fact, I just came from my son's middle school classes over there, and we're cross-country skiing on the property today and tomorrow. So I do share with, I share it with family and friends, and this is a school group that's over there right now. So I do, so if we, I think what, more so, it's the option, and we would never, we have no plans to do VRB or Airbnb. We don't want, again, the amount, we live too far away to be able to handle issues that would come up with frequently renting. So I guess the point would be able to share it and be able to charge to help cover gas in the winter and whatnot, so that's the thought behind it.
Can I ask one follow-up question? So do you see the amount of time that you would be sharing this house increasing if you got this permit? Is it gonna stay the same, or?
We don't share it very often, so I would say it probably would increase. My guess is twice a month on a weekend would be my thought. It would be more for local Buena Vista groups, church groups, so it's not, so not much more than it is now, but we don't share it very much now.
Question. We usually have site tours, like between the property, but we got canceled because of the road. You're surrounded by a lot of families. Where's your entrance, road entrance? Is it going across someone's property?
No, it is, it goes, I don't even know if that's the correct map. It's right next to Don and Perry's, gate is our entrance, so the road enters there off of the main 192. So it has its own separate one, and then you wind around to kind of the center of the property, the house.
I got a question for Scott and Rita. Do you have ditch easements that go through that property?
Yes. We do. We have gates that we lock. We keep the gate locked, we go between, but we have a path up to where we can change the water. And then we have to go all the way up through Adams's and all the way up through Winslow's, to get to our head gate. So we have to, and normally we try to always let all the neighbors know when we're gonna be going through. Sometimes something comes up, we don't make it that day, but we usually, within that week, they'll know. We try to always let them know when we're going, but yes, we do. And then another concern is, it's really tempting to play in water and divert it, and that's our lifeblood, to irrigate our crops, and we have it for such a short time, especially in drought years, that if it gets altered or rocks thrown in or sticks thrown in to block it off, and I know you like playing water too, and we do, but that is a concern too.
So you've got to you might have to take equipment through there. We've
never had to, yes, but if possible. If we have to use equipment, we probably have to work with Don and Harry Winslow's, because that would be more, where we would need to clean is up above, where the Adams place, where Blazers are.
Okay, so that's another,
Well, I think the large groups is another concern. I didn't realize it would be large groups.
This is to, I'll call you client, if that's okay. It says catch and release fishing only. Is there a large pond there or something? Or
There is a pond there.
Our ditch comes through, we share the ditch. Their share of the ditch is the pond, and then what comes through the pond, and our share goes down to irrigate our field.
Carol.
Can I ask a question for you? So if they're already sharing this home, have you noticed traffic going in and out? Or have you been aware that they have people there, groups there?
Yeah, sometimes you can hear it from our house, because we're full-time residents, so you can tell a difference. Because where we live, our property only hits a corner of their place. But we work on the ranch that, the berry on the map, that's my brother. And so we're up in that, working all the time on trees and sticks. We run our cattle in there. Yeah, all the ditches come through that. Yeah.
Further questions from the planning commission?
This is to Ashley. Who is Anne Marie O'Connor, her friend?
She's been looking after the property the past 25 years with Debbie Center Hawks. They are there often cleaning and help me get eyes on it if there's been a big frost, or they're just our friends who are closer, who can help check on the property.
The house property rules we have here, is this what those that come to, is this all we see? Right here?
I believe they're updated from what our neighbors asked us to add in.
There's no person contact, I didn't see that.
I thought I filled the form out completely, and if I hadn't, then I didn't see that form for that place. I can certainly provide emergency contact.
It's not for us, it's for the people that stay
Oh,
there.
thank you.
It should be part of the house rules. If there's an emergency, this is who you contact.
Great.
I don't, Anne-Marie, she lives in town. How far away is she, is the branch from where your ranch is?
15 to 20-minute drive.
Anything else from the planning commission?
Excuse me,
Yes, yes.
those people here about buildings on the property, is that the buildings on the property?
Yes, we have, for buildings, we have our main house, and then we have a garage, about 3-car garage, and then a horse barn, all within the same proximity.
Any further questions from the planning commission? If not, I guess we're ready for a motion. Carol?
Um, Due to the ranching nature of this community and objections of many of the neighbors, I move that the planning commission not recommend approval by board of county commissioners. But this just doesn't seem like the right place for it.
Okay, it's been moved that second, and seconded.
Who seconded?
Justin.
Yes.
Been moved and seconded that we not recommend the commissioners approval of this STR application. Any further discussion?
And because sometimes we are overruled in the commissioners, could we put in there somehow that if it is approved by them, that they have the emergency contact information in the house rules, so that that's not missed? I don't know how that works with the motion, but
It doesn't move forward.
that doesn't work sometimes.
I think that we could just ask for the email. I don't want to give the commissioners an automatic out.
All right,
But,
that's fine.
but if we vote no, if the commissioners vote yes, would you please put the emergency contacts in the house rules?
Yes, of course.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. Skip.
You need the total vote first. What do you want to do?
Do I need what?
You need a total vote and then ask for reasons?
Yes.
No reasons yet, we have to vote first.
Okay.
But will you clarify, please, Mr. Chairman, that a yes vote means no?
Correct. I was just about to do that before Skip had this funny look on his face.
I know, I can see the smoke coming out this ear. So yes means no.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Mike?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Yes.
Mary?
Slow down just a little bit. Okay, so Daryl,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
now me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I vote yes. And I'll give my reasons first.
Okay.
I'm very concerned about the water rights going through there, because you have a 15-foot easement on each side, for those ditches. To go in and clean them, to do whatever, and I mean, I know what it means to have somebody come in and throw rocks in your ditch. Daryl?
I voted with the motion. I know it's hard to probably have land and not have income coming in there, but when we have a lot of neighbors coming in against something, and those neighbors know more than we do. And I wish you would go with neighbors.
Yep, Justin.
I voted yes, because yes, it has a lot to do with the neighbors, but it also has to do with the agricultural aspect. That family's been, the family's been around there for many, many generations. And when you throw something like that in there, it causes a big uproar, and you don't want to do.
Carol.
I made the motion and I voted yes, because 26 times a year is a lot to share your house. That's a lot of opportunity for someone to go out, especially when you don't live there, you don't live in your life. That's just a lot to put in that section.
Mike.
75% of the respondents were against it, so there's.
Skip.
Just thinking, I read this several times. I think this is the greatest opposing letter we've ever received. It goes through, it says why you don't adopt dogs being on the other property. Why would somebody should go through the work things? And for me, I'm not a rancher, I appreciate the explanation, so that's why I voted yes.
Use our lines. Again, it's a ranching community with the water rights. And with their easement and the cows and going through there and everything, it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit.
Okay, so the application, the recommendation to the commissioners was that the application be denied.
Not recommended.
Could it not be approved?
Not be approved.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
So we need to call them, let them know when the board meeting is,
Yes.
because we didn't say, I don't know the next one, I don't know when I can get them.
Then if she continues to have these big parties, the people there, what about the septic and everything?
It's 12 people. It's approved for 12 people.
Approved for all.
12, yeah, it's big.
12, yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, our next item is the Horton short-term rental application. Yes. Okay, our applicant presentation.
Hey, good morning or afternoon. Appreciate y'all listening. I'll go ahead and read this as well since I'm not the best person to speak here, but we're requesting this short-term rental permit for our property as we need to relocate to take care of my aging father and be closer to medical care for my daughter who has anaphylactic allergies. Our decision to leave this area is driven by these pressing family needs. Having lived in Custer County for over 8 years, we have deep roots to the community. This is where my wife and I met, and where our children, we have raised our children, where we have built lifelong friendships. Although we are unable to be here full-time, it is important for us to maintain our property as a place to return to stay connected to our friends and community, and the community that we cherish. In the meantime, we hope to share the beauty and serenity of our cabin and surrounding mountains with others. We believe by opening our cabin to short-term guests, we are not only allowing others to experience the peaceful retreat that we have loved, but also contribute to the local economy. Our guests will support local businesses, which helps sustain the community which we care about.
Yes.
Thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Well, I'm not into another meeting right now.
Any comments from?
We got letters, right?
Letters. Doesn't need to look at you.
Okay, so there was one letter, for the Horton residents, Jeanette and Bill Stackelwall. They are adjoining neighbor within 300 yards, full-time resident. They currently have 2 STRs bordering their small property. If allowed, we will have 3 STRs around us. Rosita is a single-family zone. Issues with one of our neighbors running an STR without a permit. They continue to operate after the county ceased and desisted their property. Multiple people driving up our driveway only to find they are looking for their STR next door. There was one more. Ruth Dunn, adjoining neighbor within 300 yards, part-time resident, letter of approval.
Yes.
Bill and Annette are great people, but they are not full-time residents, so I would like to clarify that. They're here during the summers and not winters, but not that that's a big deal, but just to clarify.
And what's the last?
Steigerwald?
Oh,
So we go off of
so
their,
you're not even border.
We do border, yeah. We probably have more neighbors than most. They are behind us, which we do have a no trespassing sign set up to let people know that that's not a part of our property.
Just here on the map, it didn't look like you were fence line and wall or anything like that.
They're within 300 yards.
Or within, yeah, but actually touching, actually sharing property.
Right, we gotta have a shared driveway. I think that's
Gotcha.
part of their concern, yeah.
Oh,
What is the size of this lot?
It's an acre.
The 1 acre lot?
1.06,
It's right on the.
1.06, right at an acre.
Roughly 50,000 square feet.
Okay, any comments from the staff?
The comment that I have is, and we've addressed this, kind of gone back and forth, our records indicate that he has a 3-bedroom septic. I've never seen in the time that I've been in the planning and zoning office, our records being off on the size of the septic. We may not have records because the system is so old, but we've never been off where it's one size larger than what we have. That many more infiltrators than what we're showing. He did have it inspected and gave us a picture of the top of the septic tank lid that showed that it was a 1,250 gallon tank. I have since, and during that time, have had issues with the inspector, which he had no way of knowing. But we have had issues where this particular inspector that he utilized did not actually do an inspection, but passed the tank that was grossly failed, and I knew it was failed. So I'm just giving you that information. I would recommend, if I can make a suggestion, that we go off of, if this is recommended for approval, it's on 3 bedrooms opposed to 4 bedrooms.
Okay, I have another question for the staff. What is the proximity of any other STRs in that area?
We did put a map together. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Delana, there's STRs on both sides of him, of this particular lot. I'd have to look at the map to make sure, Keith. We put it together so you guys could take a look at it if there was question, but.
I don't recognize the name.
Let me go through public comment first.
The particular area in Rosita is very high density with our STRs.
Okay, any public comment on this application? Mr. Zeller.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Andrew Zeller, and I've been a resident in Custer County for, many decades, off and on, this time about 30 years. And I have known Justin Horton and his wife Sarah for 8+ years. At one point, I did rent an apartment to Justin, and he was an excellent tenant. I know him to be an excellent citizen of this county. I serve as his family's pastor at this time, and I'd like to speak in to recommend that his application be accepted because of his being an excellent citizen, as well as I know he has taken the steps to have his property well cared for while he's away, in that my son-in-law and my daughter will be managing it. My son-in-law is a full-time firefighter for the Colorado Springs Fire Department, but they live full-time right now in Rosita, or actually Blumenau. And then my daughter is a mother of 4 children, and she's going to take care of cleaning services for it. So Justin and Sarah, I think, have done due diligence for this, and I would just encourage you to favorably consider the application. Thank you much.
Any other public comment?
Curiosity makes me ask you where these 2 short-term rentals are adjacent to this gentleman's property? Because I live right
It's
next
not, they're
door
not
to him,
adjacent.
and I don't have a short-term rental.
Okay, I misspoke then.
Okay.
I don't know, if I said they were adjacent,
Any short-term rentals in the neighborhood?
I'm sorry?
Are there any short-term rentals in the neighborhood?
Because it depends on your definition of the neighborhood and,
Well, within the range that we're discussing this application.
my comment is that we have a lot of short-term rentals in the Rosita area. They're very small lots, and it's congested with several. That's why we put together the map, so that the planning commission could take a look at the number that we're starting to see in that area.
I think I'd rather see a short-term rental where they're living in the town.
Any other public comment?
Can I get his
Questions
name?
from the planning commission?
What was your name, sir?
My name is Earl Wilbur.
Would it be disruptive for if we did that map to come our way, or when we built that map, since there seems to be confusion about how many?
Probably be easier if you came and actually looked at it, because there's little dots everywhere.
Because the person that sent the letter says if this is approved, there's 3. So there seems to be confusion about it. Would that be okay? Could you allow us to pause for a minute?
I thought they said there was one that was illegal.
Well, which one is it? I heard that too. Keith, are you okay with this little bit now?
I mean, the size of that map, we'll all have to go over there.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, that's becoming the question.
Right now, we have to let them.
Well, that's gonna be my question, was
In the
This is the next one.
It sounds like we're getting a little bit.
So one says there's one on each side, maybe
Well, no,
one
it's what the
on
one
each
you
side, but there's two here and one there, then another one here. I mean, that's all.
And it's not as much.
Yes. You want to come over here, Mike?
I've seen it.
Go on.
That's right.
So which one is it?
It's this one.
This one?
So there's that, there's these two here, that one, and that one. So when I said, right next to it, I think the. Do you know what these are all the ones that
There's smaller lots in this town.
And it's a 1 acre lot if you got it.
Problem that they But the problem is that there's one you have to say your home. No, there's not much neighbors. There's us. Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see. We have a little house.
Okay. Any questions, any further questions from the planning commission?
So we have so many of these SPR set up by zone.
Right.
Nothing on how many by row.
No,
That's
density.
density is an issue.
I mean, the only issue is that if we congregate a whole bunch of them, we've actually created a separate zone for STRs.
Well, you
I mean,
can't.
we have
you
spot,
have to
we
address
have
it.
spot zone, a section of the county as an STR zone.
Yeah, but it also might have just set itself up that way on convenience to be done. I mean, I'm making devil advocate argument, but my only question is have we exceeded in a zone yet?
No,
So we're under that umbrella. Okay.
I have a question. All right?
yes,
In the house rules, it says no trespassing. Please note the no trespassing signs out of respect for our neighbors. Understanding that you've got an easement to the starter walls with the same driveway, is there something basically stopping them and saying, if you're looking for here, don't go past this?
We have, we added a second, address marker at the entrance of our specific property. So there's one main road that goes up to the sidewalk and the roof done, and then ours comes off to the right, and we have put a second address sign right there, notifying them of the exact address to go to.
Is there an arrow that says turn right, or, I mean, how would they not, just, with my house, I've got a sign, and then you gotta keep going to get to it, and same thing with the dog park maybe. I'm still worried about that access to then going right past your house. Is there a no trespassing sign or something right there?
I could put one on the other side, I have one at the very back end of our property that advises, but I could add a second one that says, I guess I'm trying to find out.
I don't know. something so that if I'm coming to visit your house, I'm not gonna keep going.
I think, I guess from my experience, whenever I'm approaching STR, I usually go by the address and I look at it and I say, I will turn to this, the main driveway, put it based on the address sign. And then, in our, description of the house, if that'd be helpful to say, hey, there's a second address sign, please follow the address signs. Because that would help people know to look for a second address sign. I mean,
That might help.
adding that in.
So,
And I'm not trying to put words in Mary's mouth here.
please do.
But I think what her concern is, if I'm picturing, right, is we've turned off the county road.
Right.
And we're headed to the place. Now that road continues on to some neighbors. And you've mentioned that you have another address sign, a second one.
Correct.
Basically where it's gonna say, don't continue on that road. And is it clearly marked then, basically, is what she's asking? That's the direction.
We could add an arrow, that'd be helpful.
I think an arrow would be very helpful.
Sure.
I think that's what she's looking for.
Well, imagine at 8 o'clock at night and it's dark.
Yeah, I'll get a reflector.
You don't have something there that they see,
Reflective
they're just
arrow.
gonna go straight.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I'd be fine adding an arrow, that's not.
Reflective arrow would be, I think, very helpful.
Yeah, that's a good idea, appreciate that. Carol.
Have you considered, just since you're moving away, making this be a long-term rental, doing an annual lease or a 6-month lease?
Yeah, so our main reason would be, I work from home, so we would love to come back for a month at a time, if not more, to be able to spend time with people that we care about. It's really for the relationships of a family of 5, renting an Airbnb for that, or a short-term rental, another one. That length of time would be just too much for us to be able to do. And because, like I said, we have deep roots here, we'd love to come back and, for a significant amount of time.
Next question, Dorothy, so the septic can be approved for 3 bedrooms, is that?
That's what our records show, yes.
And the house has got 4 bedrooms. So how's that,
We
we're
see
never
that.
gonna regulate that, that's not around that, we're just gonna go use this stuff.
We see that all the time.
Advertising.
We see where people have added walls and things inside their house, where non-code county, they don't have to have that permitted. Although it does affect the size of their septic. But I've never seen where the actual tank is large enough to accommodate the 4 bedrooms without us having a new permit in our system. And we have nothing. It shows a 3-bedroom septic, 1,000-gallon tank.
But you said the sign said 1250 or whoever you took the picture of.
The picture that was taken, yes. But I've never had that as an issue before.
Can I ask, is it not just tank size, isn't it also the leach field?
It is,
That's what I thought. You can't take a picture of that now.
right, exactly. We have no modification permit or,
You got a comment?
Yes. Yeah, I did dig up the tank and it does say that, but if that's a significant issue, like I said, I work from home, and if I came back, I'd be ready to use one of those rooms that I currently use as an office, to continue to use as an office. It's not put any kind of bedding in there, I'd be fine with that as well. If that would help as well.
I do have a question about, the shared driveway, what, does that have any bearing on this? I mean, what does that do? It's a shared driveway, so explain that to me.
Is that actually an easement through your property?
So I have an agreement with Rick Dunn, and I'm currently working on getting an easement, get a surveyor out. I was not under the impression that there was not an easement until the STR process came up, and so, but I've talked to Rick Dunn, who owns the property that my access is on, and have an agreement, I believe I sent in, should be the records, with her approval to do that. And once I realized that there was not one, we're working on getting a surveyor out there to actually get a legal easement. The property was originally purchased by one person who built roof and ice cabins. So I guess the new owner of our cabin, the original owner, did not separate those out.
Further questions? Skip.
On your house rules, I'm fascinated by you know something that we don't know, illegal activity, prostitution.
We're just trying to cover all bases. We're just trying to cover all bases.
You should be aware of
We'd
it.
rather go over than under. We're just saying that we don't want any of that either.
Well, how about the cameras, to get the picture?
What's that?
Commercial photography, are you worried about the movies? I mean, people can't use the camera, commercial photography is videograph.
Yeah, we just do that so that people don't come who aren't actually gonna stay in the house for like living purposes. We're not, it's just for people to visit and it's not for anything else.
Oh,
We just,
You
we
gotta say
see,
they can't take a picture with their phone.
we see, essentially, when we were looking into this and making sure that we're gonna do well, we had seen that some people would come just to, do a bunch of photography and things, and we're just not wanting that. We just want people to come and enjoy it and then kind of, keep it to that one genre of people.
Carol.
Mr. Chairman, I'm struggling with so many STRs in such a small area. I think we need to, as a board, we need to take another look at this, because this is not what we intended to create a commercial zone. To create whatever you want to call it, a zone of rental properties, one and another.
Well, and the place that probably should be addressed is in the master plan to start with.
We do have that later in the agenda.
Yeah, could we put you in?
I'm hearing right now.
Just kidding.
I mean, that would be the place it needs to start. To say that, we don't want spot zoning. Which I'm not sure that it doesn't say that already.
I think the town of Western, they got, it was one, you can't have two in a block or something.
But, I mean, we don't have those rules. So, any further questions from the planning commission?
Your house rules is probably the best rules I've seen. I think it's a little overkill because telling somebody they can't take photography, you can't curb that. I mean, I'll just come out there and snap it, what are you gonna do about it? I mean, but they are good rules. You have emergency contacts and all that. But I am concerned about what everyone else is bringing up.
Goes down to the planning commission. Any motion?
I would move that we recommend that the commissioners approve the Horton STR application with the following conditions. That they add a reflective arrow on the address sign, and that they limit it to 3 bedrooms or 6 people.
Who was the second, Mike? Discussion from the planning commission, the motion. Motion is to recommend the commissioner's approval of this application with the conditions that they put the, what do you call them?
A reflective arrow.
Reflective arrow.
Address it on.
Well, there's an address, I want the arrow underneath it or next to it or
Somewhere
something.
where it's the address.
Yeah.
denoting the direction they need to go.
Yes, sir.
And that would be limited to
3
Three
bedrooms
bedrooms
or 6 people.
6 people. So, if there's no discussion, proceed to vote. Darrell?
Come back to me, please.
Huh?
Come back to me.
Go back to you. Justin? Aye. Mary?
Aye.
Carol?
Um, I'm sorry, no.
Mike? Skip?
I'm sorry too, no.
Well, I'm sorry too, because I vote no. We're back to Darrell.
No.
So, motion fails. We do not recommend to the commissioners
We have to have a new motion.
a new motion. Okay, I would move that we recommend to the commissioners that they not approve this application for an STR. Do I hear a second?
Second.
You got Carol or Carol?
I got Darrell.
Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we recommend the commissioners that they not approve this application. All in favor, say, well, I can't do that. We proceed to vote. Mike?
So we're voting opposite now, basically.
Right.
Okay. So, no.
Okay, Carol?
Yes.
Justin? No. Skip?
Yes.
Mary?
No.
Darrell?
Yes.
I vote yes. So the vote is 4-3. So motion carries.
Again, if the commissioners decide to overrule us, especially the septic issue has to be addressed.
And they usually do when I bring your recommendation to them. If they go a different direction, they ask. They have
We'll
been.
take care of
I
that.
will make sure that that's brought up.
Okay, reasons. Justin?
I voted no, because honestly, I know what you guys are thinking, and I agree with that, but at this time, it has no bearing. I think there is no reason to say that they can't have an SDR in that area. The conditions are good, and everything is met properly.
Darrell?
I voted yes to not approving it. I think there's just a large density there. No, there weren't many, really anyone against it as far as neighbors, but the septic is an issue. I think the main road shooting off to another road turns into an issue, or would over time, depending on the amount of people coming there. And it's just too condensed.
Mary?
I'm with Justin, there is no reason to say no to this SDR.
Skip?
I think we're asking for trouble. It's too many people, leave from California. In a situation like this, there's gonna be a problem. And it's gonna be, and I don't want people to be changing quality.
Mike?
I just can't find any, under what we have, current policy and current rules and so on and so forth.
Carol?
I determine what it is due to density. If it's too close, too many, that's a tiny, tiny lot. And especially to have it must be a large home, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom home. That's a lot of people put up a high price and expect them to stay within that lot and not impact neighbors.
Okay, I voted yes, to not approve. The density is a problem. I think the lot size is a problem. I think the fact that there's not an easement could end up being a problem. Yes.
Just on the density portion of this, none of my neighbors have an STR, and, my neighbor here, he wasn't even aware there were other STRs in the area, so I think the density thing might not be as big of a factor as it seems, at least for that particular area. Because I was not even aware, and the one that Bill and, Bill Snyderwall was referring to was run illegally, which is not what I'm, I'm trying to go through the process in the right way. And so hopefully that that STR that was without a permit is not running, because for the process that this is, I would really, want people to go through it and do it right, and for those people to do that, to be treated as such.
So he will be informed of the date with the commissioners.
Yes. I do not know. Their meetings have changed, so their meetings are now over in Allward Westcliff. And I believe they're every Thursday opposed to every Wednesday, but we will let you know when that's scheduled.
Okay. I would like to recommend to the office that you keep a copy of these house rules. If people want to see how good house rules are written, give them these. I'm sure that Mr. Zeller probably helped.
I didn't have a clue. No.
Okay. Next one is the Grafton short-term rental application.
They're not here.
Nobody here?
Oh, well, they're not presenting their application.
So,
There's no Zoom or anything?
I didn't see anyone on here. Nope, we don't have anybody. There's no one on Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know what this is doing. She is TV room. Oh, no, well, you can't present something that you're not presenting.
Is there a reason they just forgot it, maybe?
Even when I emailed everybody about
They were notified just like everyone else.
yeah, I
They
want to
knew.
just give them a quick call and see if I messaged an accident. I messaged them and they're not answering. I just messaged them like an hour ago and started meeting, I didn't see them.
Is that the wagon kill ranch?
It's the, what is that,
William Drawing.
Safford Grafton.
yeah, no,
This
this
is-
is Stafford, Robert Kraft.
This is out on 96, right?
Yeah, 96. When we did do the site tour and I sent everybody emails, I let everybody know that we were still on for our meeting today. Okay,
Yes.
what do we do? I've never seen this before.
I've never had one where they didn't show up.
We could table it.
We could table it,
Or we could figure it out.
or we could,
Oh,
Can't you just out staff?
Have they paid the application fee and all that?
Yes.
This is the one that we talked about not even putting on the agenda.
Oh,
So they were well
Oh.
aware
so they chose
that they were
not to
out
be
of
here.
compliance.
They chose not,
Yes.
that's fine.
So we should continue with their statement and, or just
We table it.
table it?
That would be my,
I wonder why would we do that though?
because they are currently not in compliance with the resolution. And we know that as a fact.
And we discovered it after they had paid.
Right, if we table it, then they expect a hearing in the next meeting with the next meeting. That's what this tabling is doing.
Correct, and that's what we've done in the past, giving them the opportunity to get in compliance. We have done that in the past.
So you make a motion to table
Okay, I would
Yeah.
move to table their, application until they are in compliance with the resolution.
Okay, but can we talk about that for 1 second, because part of their thing is it's the
Well, let's get a second, then we'll discuss it. So Skip seconded it. Now it's open for discussion.
I should have never said that word, because the well can't support.
I guess-
So,
Can I say something?
Yeah.
If we table it, then that leaves this spot, takes this spot away from somebody else who may want it in this
They
zone.
paid their application fee, right?
Yes, they have.
If that's how you want
Then
it.
they have they're holding the spot, right? I thought so.
Until we say aye, yes, or no.
But had we known of the issue, we wouldn't have even passed it on, so. And
We've got precedent though.
but if they don't come into compliance, I mean, if it's a well issue, how, do we give them, we've got
there's no way.
30 days to be compliant, or 60 days, or forever and ever?
I thought it was a
It's a
bunkhouse
bunkhouse issue.
problem.
And their well does not support, it's also a well issue. And I did sit with the gentleman, we called Division 2 just to confirm what well he has. He has a household well, it never should be, have been connected to another dwelling slash bunkhouse, whatever you want to call
So this is a
It
big
was-
issue.
It's a
But-
big, it's a big.
And he
it.
did-
It was
Our
permitted
issue-
as a barn.
Our issue for the resolution is he has an unpermitted bunkhouse, that's it. So either he gets rid of his bunkhouse, and which has been done in the past, and then we've heard,
But-
applications.
He marked on his application that his well was sufficient. His well's not sufficient for what they're trying to do. So he falsified his application.
Well, then would you refund his money and send it back?
it.
We don't give refunds, it's right on here that says we do not
The
give.
thing is, they wouldn't have known about that until they went through the permits. I mean, for what permits?
So they've done their work.
It wasn't that we didn't go through the permits. It was that Kristen went out and did an inspection, and she came and told us that they had an illegal bunkhouse. She went to close out a permit upon an inspection. We had already processed their application. They permitted everything. It was for an accessory building. It was all done properly as far as our end. We were unaware that they had created a bunkhouse until Kristen did the assessor's job and went out and did her inspection, and she came back and notified us that she does when there's something out of compliance. That's when the red flag came up and said, now what do we do? We've already taken your money. Everything was kosher in their file until we were notified by the assessor to be illegal.
So you show that they were properly permitted, but if she went out there to another building that you would have no awareness of.
We knew that they had permitted an accessory building.
So I sent them a
We did not know
compliance.
about the bunkhouse.
I sent them a letter notifying them they were out of compliance after they submitted their application. I also met with Mr. Grafton personally in my office. His explanation to me, if I need to go into this much detail, was that that's what he was told was okay. I get that from everybody, because there's change of hands in my position. I tell them, like I tell everybody, this is what I have to go by. If you can produce something in writing for me stating that the person previous, my predecessor, told you this, then I can take it to another board or whatever for review. I can take it under review. He could not provide anything. His comment back to me, following our meeting, he did send me an email, and he's basically saying, thanks for the meeting you with me yesterday. Lynn and I have discussed this, appreciate your help. We decided that we do not want to move forward with the discussion with the commissioners, because he had planned to go to the commissioners from leaving my office. I understand that our check has been cashed. Basically what he's saying is, this is what we want to do, we'll let the chips fall as they may. That's how it was said to me, so.
What do you want to do, Chairman? There's a motion on the floor.
I know there's a motion to table.
It's been seconded, so we have to
So
discuss
we
it.
have to discuss the motion.
I would say, I would give them 30 days to be, specifically say you have to get rid of the bunkhouse, make it an accessory building before we'll hear your application. And if that, would give them a date, you have to have it done by such and such time, and if that doesn't happen, then his application is declined.
It's null and void.
Right, but I
Well,
think we
no, it's not.
haven't told him this yet. We haven't said, get rid of the bunkhouse, get in compliance, then we'll hear it.
I sat and spoke to this gentleman, they have no intention of getting rid of that bunkhouse.
Can we do it in writing?
Yeah, maybe because it comes from the commission, regardless of, I know you did it, or you done it, but if it's done from us, if he's got 30 days to do it, if it doesn't happen within 30 days, then his application is gone.
Okay, then we're doing separate, we're defining what I would normally do, or what's written as, if you're out of compliance, this is the procedure to follow. They were given 30 days from the date of the letter that I sent out, and they have not complied.
All right, so
I have not sent it on to the attorney.
So,
that's your next step normally?
Yes,
Because of the lack of bunkhouse, right?
because of the illegal
Do we have to wait
bunkhouse.
until the attorney does something before we void his application?
Well, last time we had somebody come up that had an illegal bunkhouse, we stopped it right there and denied it.
I mean, because we can't void his application because he's already paid the fee. We don't want to give back the fee because there's already research and office work been done.
Okay. Can I modify my motion then to recommend that the commissioners not approve this application because they are not in compliance with the resolution?
Yes, you can.
There we go.
I'll second that.
Okay.
But we got to open the first one, though.
No, I modified my motion. Oh, whatever.
You can withdraw the first motion.
Okay. I withdraw the first one and I make the second one.
Correct.
And now I've got a different second. Or does that, you still want to be the second?
Oh, you gotta think about this.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to be the second? All right. We'll keep your second.
Like I told you before, the letters are from California.
Okay.
That's why you make it work.
All right, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay, so
All right, so now we have a vote?
now we got to vote. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we recommend that the commissioners not approve this application
Because they're not
because they're not
compliant
in compliance with the
due to
resolution.
the bunkhouse. Should I say that, due to the bunkhouse? Dorothy?
I would just say out of compliance.
Okay, out of compliance.
Okay, Justin,
right.
Carol, Mike, Skip, Mary,
Aye.
Darrell,
Yay.
I vote aye.
We beat the thunder on that horse.
I do that.
We made it into a camel.
So now, Dorothy, you will proceed to take this to the attorney regarding the non-compliance.
So do we all have the same reason they're not in compliance?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yes,
Okay.
it's in your motion, in fact.
I know, but do we need to go to each individual person and say why?
No,
Okay.
Same.
We gave our reason, right? When we
All right.
voted for your motion, we gave our reason.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I'll have
That
to
was
say
the
this,
last she should.
this is not a good day for STRs.
Is that a motion?
Okay, our next item is a short-term rental application for Vernon Yoder. Front and center. Okay.
Yes,
would you
please.
come up
Right
and-
here.
and submit your,
I'm crying.
give your applicant statement.
Well, it makes sense now that we talked about it.
So my request for an STR is I have 35 acres with a home on it with nice views.
Could you speak into the microphone just a little more?
So I have 35 acres with a home on it that's behind my primary residence. And has nice views, and we'd like to offer it for people to get away for vacation, etc. Whatever information would you like to have?
So this is a 35-acre parcel with a home on it, and then you live on another parcel
That's adjacent to it.
with another home, and another home.
So
You
I
almost
will,
surrounded it, don't you?
yeah, so my wife and I will be cleaning it, watching over it, managing it.
Can I ask questions yet?
No, we need to see.
Oh, are there any letters?
There is no letters.
Okay.
There'll be no public comment because we're
Public
having
comment?
questions from the planning commission.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's not a lot, but there is one border that it does have a neighbor. Is that marked? Does it show that where the delineation of your property is to theirs?
It is.
How?
I tried to drive stakes and it's rocky, so what I ended up doing was taking 5-gallon buckets and marking my perimeter, and then I tell my guests that do not go beyond the buckets that are in the line.
Okay.
Without snakes.
So we just need to get that into the house rules.
Yeah, I mean, I have verbal discussions with my guests, but
Oh, no, I understand that, but it's actually in the resolution that you have to do that.
sure, that's fine.
So you already rented?
I have another Airbnb on the other lot, so I have 235 there. I live in one, Airbnb at 1125, it's 1129, and I live at 1109. So I own 3 parcels.
What has been the use of this house?
My son lives in it, and we live in a new house in Rosita, and so he's moving out.
Other questions?
So Robinson and Reno on the other two
Correct.
neighbors. So which lot of yours is already rented, is the other SDR, is it the one above or the one
Love.
below?
I would ask Dorothy, but has there been any complaints or anything on the other SDR?
No, there has not.
Okay.
Probably not gonna claim against himself. He owns everything.
We had a 5-star rating, rating the views and the seclusion.
It's a better area.
I would make a motion to accept the six STR, move forward with, one condition that the boundaries marked by the buckets be added to the house rules.
I will second.
Trespassing.
Been moved and seconded that we recommend to the commissioners that they approve this application for an STR with the condition that the markings of the boundary be added to the house rules. Further discussion? Vote. Carol.
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
Darrell.
Yes.
Skip.
Yes.
I vote yes.
One I vote.
Why I get a vote? I went right by you.
Well, just like stand up. Yes.
Okay.
I don't want it to be all landslide.
Commissioner can shoot it down, so.
Reasons. Mike.
I just don't see any reason not to.
Carol.
I think that's.
I think it's good that he's managing it himself and he's right there to watch, make sure that the neighbors don't realize that.
Justin.
No reason not to, there's land, no opposition.
Darrell.
Well, the other neighbors, the Yoders did send any negative letters, they didn't want it, so I think it's okay. We're in the acreage, 35 acres, a lot of acres.
Mary.
This is the right area to get this done. There's lots of room, and he's managing himself, and he's there. It's the best of the STRs.
Skip.
I'm sure the same as Barry, but he's right. And he looks like a nice guy.
I voted yes. I don't see any problem with the application. He's got plenty of room. He's right there to manage it. And there's no opposition from any neighbors.
That's the best.
Okay.
So you can recommend it.
Yes, one yes ticket today.
You are the exception.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, workshop days.
Is that what's next?
We have master plan, review the subdivision regs.
I don't think we can do those together.
Huh?
I don't think we can do those together.
No, no. I would suggest that the major one is probably the master plan. I mean, we use the subdivision regs so little, we haven't had a subdivision in years.
Well, Linda,
Yes.
how often does somebody ask for a copy of the master plan?
Never. But it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
it says, actually, it says that we have to update it.
Yeah, every 5 years.
And it's been how long?
It's probably been 10 years.
9 years.
9?
I think so.
It's been a while since we went over that. The last time, I think we changed 2 or 3 words.
Is that when we had an afternoon meeting and an evening meeting, and all those different groups came in? Is that-
No, actually, the last time we did it, you and Vic sat down and went through it. And said, okay, here's an issue we need to address, here's an issue we need to address. The things have changed. But we haven't had the big meeting since we adopted the master plan.
Is that this? All this, is that?
No,
On the master plan.
master plan.
Because I've got well, this is how a victim. Obviously before, it was not that kind.
We have copies of this, everyone.
I can get it in the office. I have
She, I don't know, it was in red.
One for me, Joseph does.
All they do is that she changed three lines, and said, all you gotta do is make this, so.
That's correct,
Pictures.
because, I mean, our vision had not changed. I mean, but it needs to be gone over, I mean, and I'm not too sure that it's not a state regulation that you have to review this master plan every so often.
Have you read it, Karen?
I think that I read it as part of the housing board that I was on. I believe so. Yeah, or if not, we get a certain.
What day are we talking about the wrong years?
That's what we need to decide.
Hold on, when I talked with Dorothy yesterday, she was talking about us dividing up maybe into smaller groups, because she said that inadvertently, STRs and ADUs got left off this workshop list. I think that today was a good example of how we need to review our STR regulations. Because the guy with 1 acre, I mean, you guys were right. Our regulations are wrong.
Right. They're wrong, but, and yes, we.
And you're right, I know, you were right, but it was like, okay, we're gonna compound it, like, I don't know. We need to redo our STR regulations. We need to look at the zones, the lot sizes, the density, all that kind of stuff. So that's either a separate workshop day, or as Dorothy did, what I thought she was talking about was that we maybe divide up and then come together and all put our ideas together. But I would also like to have a discussion about ADUs. I know I'm gonna be the one rebel on that, but they're happening anyways. We're not regulating them. And accessory dwelling unit, we've just got our heads in the sand.
Westcliff is having a fun time with it. Have you been reading that? Westcliff said, thou shalt be able to have ADUs. And then Round Mountain said, wait a minute.
We don't have the water for that.
Right. And the way the regulation is right now, one tap is one dwelling, period.
Okay, that is also the problem in the county. In any place of less than 35 acres, you could not have an ADU.
So it's not really, it's kind of out of our control until we figure out the water issue.
You can't have a second well, or in your well.
No.
Not
Not on a parcel less than 35 acres.
Actually, you can't have two wells on less than, on 35 acres.
Yeah, you can't
Yes,
have one less than 70.
right,
One well per 35 acres.
that's correct.
It doesn't mean that it's not been done, though.
Oh, I don't disagree with you, but we can't put something in there that,
One well on 35 acres can supply more than one dwelling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so back to,
No, you sure?
Yes.
I agree with that, because they have approved guest houses on 35 acres. And so that is obvious, and that's why we changed the resolution to say, there is no such thing as an ADU, that's a guest house. And we can go ahead and approve those if there's water. So we thought we had already addressed it in that manner.
Delana.
But what you guys had addressed is that they have to prove hardship. So
That's correct.
in the new resolution, you guys did not open up multi-dwellings or ADUs to people with 35 acres or more unless they can prove hardship. So now it has closed the door to bunkhouses
Where
and
does it say that,
multi-dwellings.
hardship?
It's
I
in
don't
there.
Because that's
remember
what that's one of the reasons that you have to have to get a second dwelling variance.
I'm not,
Could we have a workshop about it?
I think that
That's what I'm
we
going
should
to
at
get to.
least look at
is
that,
we
because
should
I don't
look at
remember
it.
that.
We should look at it because we continue to have housing problems in this community, the housing board continues to, the county is an obstacle in some instances to solving some housing issues. And I think we ought to just look at it, we ought to talk about it.
Because, I read I started reading through what the state sent out in their new, I guess it's the legislation that they passed on ADUs. I mean, we have very few areas where they would qualify because of the water.
Because if we open it up, we will hurt the ranchers.
Huh?
If we open it up, we will hurt agriculture and ranchers. Because we'll start draining them off
Well, I mean,
for time.
Well, I also break down, there's only so much water out there.
I mean, they and some of the rules that they've got,
What signifies an ADU? What establishes that different than a bunkhouse or different than a separate dwelling?
well, actually, an ADU is a separate dwelling
Okay.
in one way or another. It can be attached to a house, but it is also a separate unit. So you've made a duplex out of a single unit house.
Okay.
But if you don't have a well that will support those two you've got two residences then on one property. Under our resolution, you would have to get a variance to have an ADU. Because you would have two residences on one property.
Or even a second dwelling building a second house.
Right, correct.
It needs to be addressed because my neighbor in Boston bought a house and built the exact same house 50 feet from his house. Got the permit and everything. So that's gotta be addressed because you tell me he built an ADU and there's no hardship or anything and he came and got a permit like it was no big deal. I was amazed how that happened through this office. He's on 35 acres just like I am.
He's on 35 acres. See, unless he went to the variance board, and got a variance for a second dwelling.
He just came in and got a permit, no big deal.
What I'm asking for is that we have a workshop and we define, are there any places where it is appropriate? If so, what does that look like? Because I'm from a different place where ADUs are not, I'm not talking about ADUs in Rosita. I'm talking about a mother-in-law's apartment that is 100 yards from my house, 100 feet from my house, pick a thing, that's 500 square feet or less. I mean, I think that you could put parameters on it so that it gives people a little bit of freedom to do something like that. And then if my mother-in-law dies, can I rent it to a teacher? We don't allow that stuff. And we can't staff the schools because there's no place for teachers to live. We can't get firefighters and we can't get ambulance drivers because there's no place for people to live. I just want us to take our heads out of the sand and say, is there a way that we can be part of the solution? And we can put tight parameters on it.
And I'm not seeing anything about a variance for a guest house, only if there is.
I haven't highlighted, but.
You haven't highlighted?
But it's in my book in the
4 or 5
office.
years ago that the Bull Domingo, they came in and they wanted a mother-in-law house.
Oh,
built
yeah,
beside their house and we all said no.
it was the Smiths, I know.
The Bull Domingo HOA asked them to say no.
I remember it, and I remember them not making their case such that they couldn't just add on to the house. I remember, I was there, but I'm just not finding it.
I'm gonna let you guys talk and go get my book, because I have it highlighted.
Okay.
I don't want to talk with these people.
Huh?
I don't want to talk.
Do you want to come with me?
Yeah, I want to come with you.
Okay.
So back to the agenda, by law, we have to do a workshop on master plan.
All these people,
So let's just get it scheduled.
oh, I do this, and I give this.
Just do it.
Yes, let's just, it might be a 10-minute meeting where you say, yes, we've looked at it, you know?
Okay.
I don't think a 10-minute meeting exists.
Well, I didn't
Well,
mean
it
that,
can.
but.
Well, we got to,
Excuse me, let me,
go ahead, Skip.
I got that, I'm just thinking, I might have steered Dorothy wrong. I had the impression that the last time we did the review of the zoning resolution, people came in, it was that night time, and we had all the different, the dark skies. The big thing is that dark skies made a presentation,
Okay.
and everybody got PO'd. I mean, like the ranchers, and they explained why they were against it and all this crap. But they had all little groups around your thing. Now, what the hell was that?
Master plan.
Master plan, it was. So we had, and the way we did it, regular meeting, except they publicized it before, and then it got to be, people were really interested. And we had all these groups, like no profit or profit deal. And then, they would just say what they did, and what their plans were for the future. But holy mackerel, I remember you talking to Dan Fox, you mentioned him today. He told me he was so mad he was here, he was the general manager of Comerford. And he had told all his employees, they all bitched about what's going on. And he says, and I told him, he said, I talked to them to have a meeting at night for this public meeting. And it was full, this year was full. And he said, he left, he said, he drove by the bowling alley, and all these people were in the bowling alley. And he said, I went in and looked around, and most of a lot of other people were in the bowling. They all bitch, but they don't give a damn.
I mean, and that was not the last time that we did it.
Yeah.
The last, I mean,
it
was the time before when we.
20 years ago.
It was a while ago, when we first, the big deal. I mean, when we first, the first time we reviewed it, is when Dark Skies was first started. And I mean, yeah, they wanted us to put Dark Skies in that master plan, and it went down in flames. I mean, we couldn't have walked out the door if we okayed it.
Right.
But the first meeting would be just a workshop among us, right?
Right.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Let's see, it's supposed to be these groups.
Well, and when we have our public meeting, before we change the master plan, see,
Yeah.
then that's when we can get, but if we don't make any changes to the master plan, nobody knows the master plan exists, hardly.
Yeah, and they told me the reason for it is, if you go out for a grant, you have to have a master plan. Like you said, I think the state says you gotta have a master plan. And so for the last couple of times, that's what, Jackie goes to JD's office, and he gives her a stack, half a page of information on how many more people there are today than were 5 years ago, and what the averages of dollars and all that stuff. It only takes up a half a page. That's what we've been doing for the last couple of times. Jackie just took those, just changed the page with the scriptures. Like she said, nobody comes in.
And read through the master plan and see if there's anything that we disagree with.
Yeah,
you know, that should be changed.
oh, yeah.
Was it better that we all take those individually, the master plan, and go through it individually, or
Right.
usually people won't do it unless we're in a group?
I mean,
I mean, what's,
I would say that's a good way to start. Just go through it, see what you see that you don't agree with, and you think should be changed before we ever have a workshop. That makes your workshop a lot shorter.
yes.
And also what you think you should be added.
Right.
What's different now? Yeah, I've been thinking, like, some stuff at the clinic has changed. Stuff, you know, I don't know, what we got, STRs, that's not in there.
No, there was no STRs in the last master plan.
Well, like Mike suggested, we beat this to a dead horse here. Can we make a date to do this?
Yes, let's do that.
Otherwise, we'll discuss this another 15
We're running out of
minutes.
horses.
So should we do STRs at the same time, or do you want STRs to be at, if we think we might add
Well,
STRs?
these two separate documents.
Okay, then if we think we might do something with the STRs in the master plan, we should have the STR workshop first.
That's a good question.
That is a good question, let's look.
Will we?
The teeth to whatever's gonna be done with STRs is in your
Zoning resolution.
Right, but you just said there's nothing in the master plan about it. If we want something to be in there about it, then we need to figure it out first. The logical sequence was we rethink our STR regulations. And then if we want to add them or not add them, I'm not saying we should add them. I'm just saying, you said there's nothing in there about them.
There kind of is.
Should there be?
Unincorporated communities, which includes Rosita, are growing areas where population density requires attention to avoid future infrastructure problems. So it kind of has a, I mean, that,
Broad spectrum.
right, if you were gonna, that's density.
Yeah, it doesn't address.
I mean, and actually the master plan just addresses things in broad strokes. It does not address anything specific.
No.
And I think the master plan needs also the commissioners to follow it.
I don't think the
I'm not arguing
commissioners even
with
signed
the other
that.
way. Two guys said it's not in there. I'm saying if they want it in there, we just gotta figure it out first. That's all.
Okay, I think that's that's what the future of the county is.
Yeah, but they don't make it and they don't sign it.
But the master plan would just say something that references STRs and then go on to the rules and regulations. Really, just adding it in there wouldn't be an issue. If we have the master plan, because with broad strokes is the master plan, as he said. We're not gonna spell it out,
It's the feel of the county. That's what it is, just the feel of the direction of the county, yeah. You know, the right to ranch in there and that sort of thing. Then your zoning comes in, you know, with the teeth on how it
Addresses
on how it
specifics.
And that's what it says in here. It's like, it's all on how it's done. And I would presume that Rosita is zoned or residential.
Residential agricultural, same as the rest.
Rest of the whole county.
Right.
So, yeah.
So here's something to think about with these STRs. We're talking about density, especially at Rosita, fractured rock, right? It's kind of morphing into, obviously, that there's these STRs. Those STRs are not full, which means those wells are not pumping like families over there. Number one, there's way less water being used when we put in an STR. The second thing is like this last one, we're right on the county road. I mean, it's just an STR out on the county road. Not that it neighbored any other STRs, there's just STRs in the area. But they're all kind of, it's automatically set itself up for that kind of an area. So far, really without any trouble, we're always gonna have somebody break the rules. You can't ever get everybody to comply, so you got one that is not even, doesn't even have an application in it, you have an STR, but they're running one, or you go get them shut down the best that you can. my biggest thing is when you take that and that what a prime place to accumulate some SDRs, because everyone that's getting put in there is taken away from the total zone,
Yeah,
right? Where they are getting concentrated, where you're not gonna have then you don't have STRs scattered out over that whole entire zone. You have more in one little concentrated area, and it's kind of doing it on its own with less water usage. And, I mean, you've got fire mitigation there, you've got all kinds of things that are actually a positive for having that STR, right?
except for if you live there.
Yeah, but you didn't have a single person, you know, I understand that if you live there, but you didn't have a single person that had any opposition to it. And it's just right smack on the county road. I mean, we talked about this this egress of getting away from fires and so on and so forth. And, I mean, I just think that those are some things to consider, because if they're not STRs, you're gonna have people living in them. And then you just have more pull on the water.
Well, they're only gonna pull so much in that fraction of rock out there.
Well, yeah, and then everybody's well's gonna dry, right?
That's what
So,
well, no, not everybody's,
well,
just
not
theirs.
everybody's, but just theirs. But you see my point. I mean, you have, if you took 1 mile of that Rosita Road, let's say there was 1 mile of it, and this was gonna be the 4th STR in 1 mile period, in 1 mile stretch. The opposite of that.
You've created a commercial district.
Well, have you?
Yes.
Okay. Because otherwise what you have is you have 4 residences that are constantly pulling on water. I mean, and if this SDR is here, it's taken away because we have a number for the total zone where another SDR can be pulled, right? I'm just saying I'm not so sure it's as bad as in my mind. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I'm not trying to argue with anybody or anything like that.
Well,
I just think there's some things to consider there.
I think we get the office to give each member a copy of the master plan. We can all sit down and go over it individually, and we'll have our meeting. Can anybody recommend a date?
I think you should give everybody at least a couple weeks to read.
Oh, yeah.
You just make a date. My
You don't make any difference.
The end of the month, probably work better, wouldn't it?
Matter of fact, make the date first before somebody else makes my date.
Do we have to make this public?
No, this is a workshop.
We are,
Okay.
didn't you know we function in secrets?
What?
Where can we get a room?
Holiday Inn?
We got the bank.
What are you thinking about?
We just,
We're the prostitutes.
we just don't want to call it a workshop.
Don't go that far.
Advertise.
I did advertise last time, and we used verbiage like, you're invited, but you're only can speak if we want you to, or, I don't know, I can look at what the verbiage was.
Only speak
I think it has to be with.
No, it's, we get to decide if there's public comment or not. They can come and listen.
I get what Valley Cruise.
They can come and listen, but they can't necessarily speak.
What about the 24th of February, it's a Monday?
Yeah, Tom's got a doctor appointment, but I should be back, 1:30 would probably be fine.
I'm probably checking cows.
You're checking cows?
Probably checking.
Oh, well then let's not do it that way.
It's not good.
He sent his comments in.
I sent my comments in, yeah.
About Thursday the 27th?
That works for me. You're going, I really would like you to be there, Carol. So when's good for you, yeah.
So what, is 24th good for you?
No,
Don't move it just because of me, because
You're lying to me, or
You could input.
It hurts my feelings.
You're not gonna be here.
As soon as we
you
get to the
don't
end
need
of
it,
February,
you
though,
can send us
Mike,
an email when you're input.
as we get to the end of February, you're gonna be busy. Yeah.
Oh.
You're gonna have state tournament coming up.
Oh, I'll have that first part, yeah, second week.
Well, then, why do the 24th then?
No, because what about the 19th?
Oh, you're gone that day too.
What about Wednesday the 19th?
Wednesday the 19th is perfect.
Sure.
All right, what time and where?
Yes.
And somebody fire an email to me.
Let's get-
I will, yes, Wednesday the 19th. What time? 1 o'clock.
5 in the morning really works good.
1 o'clock.
I'll second that.
1 o'clock. And you want to let us know the room? Or can we just use the basement?
We could use the basement if everybody wants to go down there.
Is there a room here?
Basement.
Go to the bank.
The bank's a nice area.
You want to do that, Kirkpatrick Bank?
Yes.
Can you arrange that? Okay, Kirkpatrick Bank.
No, I think Daryl's gonna arrange it.
All right, Daryl can arrange it.
He's a big man.
Oh, big bank.
What time?
1 o'clock, Wednesday the 19th.
Okay.
At the bank.
And that's the master plan, you guys. Now,
Which doesn't list anything.
Stop by the office and pick up a master plan.
if you don't already have one, do you want to do an STR meeting too?
I wish we didn't have SDRs.
What does our agenda say we're supposed to do? Subdivision
But
regulations.
you know, based on what I'm reading.
We can
across
put that
the country,
on the
we're way
subdivision
ahead of
regulations.
any of
It's
the
gonna
Colorado
be a
Springs
slog.
anybody, because they're trying to figure out.
It's gonna be one
They got a mess.
where we want to read through it, because subdivision regulations are very complicated. And we don't use subdivision regulations. We have not used them in 20 years.
So we'll set up the meeting for August.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's soon enough.
So the third Wednesday in August
Yeah.
at 1 o'clock at Kirkpatrick Bank.
Yeah.
In August?
I'm just,
So do we want to do an STR workshop? You know, we're going to continue to stumble. If we don't, I mean,
no,
today,
that's not what this is, it's master
Master
plan.
plan. I think we do need to set something up.
I think we need to work on the STRs, because today, we had a situation that was wrong, but people that were right, and we ended up
Yes.
with a split vote. We need to all get on one page. We need to figure that out. Because otherwise, next month, we're gonna have more applications, and we're gonna continue to stumble.
Right. So I would suggest that let's have our master plan meeting,
Okay.
then we will hold a meeting on addressing the STR problem.
Like the first week of March.
Yeah. Sometime
So-
around.
You want to add that, because it's not on the agenda, you want to add that to the next agenda?
Right.
Okay, I'll do
Because,
that.
I mean, she's right, we're gonna keep stumbling over that same thing. But in order to do that, when we do that, we're gonna reopen the zoning resolution.
March agenda.
Do we have any STRs in March?
We have 2 SUPs.
SUPs in March?
Okay,
But I think it's okay, Keith, because this is a new process, STRs are a new process, and we thought we had it right the first time.
Well, we started running into problems.
But to realize that, okay, well, maybe that's not quite what we meant, I think that's okay. But I think it's better to talk about it and get it figured out than to keep stumbling.
Right. Okay, I thought of another problem. We want to be real careful about granting any STRs in Blumenau, East Cliff 4,
Well, you run
around the airport, because of the augmentation plans. Underneath the augmentation plans, I don't believe that they can have an STR.
Oh, we need augmentation plans. What is that?
Water augmentation.
You are taking in a pile of then of the country.
I know.
So if that's the case, that one down the hillside's under an log plan. And that it was just presented to us today. So if you're saying that there's something under an aug plan, no, they weren't using augmentation plan.
No,
But if they're under the blue line, what you're talking about.
well, yeah, but they're not under that they're not mandated to be under that augmentation plan. These other ones are all mandated, they're under a court supervised augmentation plan.
Every well?
Yeah.
Yes.
and where does it say they can't have an STR?
I mean, because they're single-family residences. They're not
By
commercial.
definition, an STR is not a single family residence.
That's not.
Well, it's
I
not, it's not
disagree.
commercial because they.
I disagree, it's a single family residence.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, you're stepping off into water law here, and
We need to have water.
But we-
Talk about that one.
that is gonna get dicey.
Well, we don't have anything that says that right now. We don't know this.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's pretty easy to throw that in that for and see what they have to say.
You gonna take care of that?
I have all the augmentation plans.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is just throw that at FRR as a question on whether or not they can augment, because
Well-
they're the ones that implement the augmentation.
Well, they're the ones who are gonna have to come up with a definition of whether it's a single family residence or not. Actually, right?
I agree with that.
Well, it wouldn't be FRR, it's gonna be the court.
It's gonna be the courts.
Which is
We
the
don't wanna
reason
do
I
that.
would have to go back through all those augmentation plans and see exactly what they say.
So,
But I
I'm willing to do that.
see, that takes,
Thanks, Lord.
all of a sudden,
Appreciate it.
all of a sudden that takes out all your ADUs in anything that's under one of those augmentation plans. And I think there are 6 of them.
So versus STR and quick commerce ADUs, they're guest houses.
Right.
Well, would it be enough time for us to have the SUP meeting in March and then after everybody leaves, go into the meeting over what we're discussing at this moment, or is that enough time?
On the STRs? Yes, I would believe there would be.
Because everybody's here at that time.
So you wanna do an STR? We can't, because that's a workshop. You can't do that during a meeting.
No, but we could do it as part of our meeting, we could have a discussion.
Okay, so we would close the meeting and start the workshop. Okay.
In March.
After the March meeting?
March 3rd.
Oh,
What are the special?
I can't have you gone.
What are the SUPs?
I don't remember.
March, did it take forever? Maybe.
Can anybody ever meet in the morning, or does that cause how?
5 in the morning.
I'm in the morning, working great for me. What's too much?
Are you gonna do it? I'll send the SUPs when I get back to the office to the shared drive.
Uh-oh, just stop this whole.
Can we do STRs at 11?
11?
I don't know, I'm asking, I did.
Depends on if there's a BCA.
What, are you gonna be here?
Yeah, okay.
We don't have anything for BZA.
So we
No,
could
I'm
do,
gone in
we're
March.
coming early.
March 3rd, you'll be here?
No, I'm gone the last week of February and the first week of March.
Oh, well then that's a four.
Well, that's not long.
I think the first thing we gotta do to be sure is, I'll have to take you there. So see if we can get February the 19th.
At the bank?
Oh, we'll get it somewhere, even if we have to go to the basement.
Yeah, we don't have to do it at the bank.
We actually set a date. It took us an hour to come up with it, but we set a date for the master plan workshop.
Awesome.
It's gonna be Wednesday, the 19th at 1 o'clock.
And did you share that we have some stuff that Jackie had worked up already, but it
You did
just,
share.
okay, great, thanks.
I want to throw out something right quick, off of, which I didn't know, I must not have been in that meeting, but there was an STR approved off of County Road 310. Every night, every weekend I get up, well, I took a picture at 7 o'clock and they had all the lights on. I got up at 3 or 3:30, they had all the lights on, which takes away from, I mean, it looks like a dadgum cathedral over there, but they were taking away from dark skies. And it lights up the whole freaking valley.
He's complaining.
I'm complaining because
He's gonna.
I never thought about lights being an issue.
Will you send me an email, Darrell?
I'll send you the pictures. But it just looks like a ball of light. But these people who come in these places, they don't care about electricity. They're turning on all the lights. And if I was a neighbor living close to that, I'd be very upset.
So maybe that's something we can talk about in the resolution, is make sure that the lights are out by
Yeah.
10, 11 o'clock or whatever.
That's
I didn't know that thing
that
got
discussion
approved.
then.
Of course, I
But
couldn't
you're
say
there.
that. But they're 1,000 yards from me. I mean, it just looks like a freaking stadium of lights. It's weird.
So we don't have a date to work on STR. STRs.
No, we were waiting for you to be in town.
Are we done?
So,
Did we adjourn?
Tell
The
us
second
when,
week of March.
second week of March.
So the
Let's take
tenth,
a look.
or the twelfth, or the thirteenth, or? Does Mondays work very best for everybody? Is your cows on the table for you to be away from Monday?
There is not a day that works good, so that's one of the things where you just set the date.
Why don't we do Monday, the 10th at 1 o'clock?
Everybody good with that?
Monday, March 10th at 1 o'clock at Kirkpatrick, Delana.
Good.
And that will be STR workshop.
And are you gonna call them, or?
Do we know we can't get the courtroom?
They wanted to do it in a round table, like a.
Okay.
It's more conducive to discussion, I think. All right. Since the agenda didn't get updated, was there more that you wanted to get workshops on?
It was the STR, STRs and ADUs, I was putting them together. Because Carol and I had talked a little bit.
Guest houses.
Yes.
Not ADUs.
The world calls them ADUs,
Well,
Mary.
I guess that, maybe that's a question, so, as part of the
Well, it
workshop.
could be. We did define it in our resolution, ADU, C, guest house.
Okay.
Okay, in any case, so work, master plan, SDRs.
And the subdivision regulations.
Okay, so we did not do that yet.
Subdivision,
Right.
Is there enough time to do all that?
August. Like I
That's
said,
what I said.
we have not, the subdivision regs haven't been updated, but we have not used the subdivision regs. Period.
So he doesn't want to set a date.
So, I mean, I would suggest that we finish these other things and then address the subdivision regs.
That's fine with me. It's just part of on my list of things.
Isn't subdivision the same as PUDs, or close to it? Aren't they that same arena?
No,
They're not.
I mean, subdivision regs,
Okay, well, we'll discuss it.
there are some very confusing things in there.
Like the rest of this is.
Like, subdivision regs address who maintains the roads, how the roads are built. You know, your fire, what you've got for fire prevention, what you've got for drainage, what you've got for, you know, when you, investiture, I guess that's what they call it. You know, I mean, there's some things in there that, God, I haven't looked at it since we did the subdivision, right? That was 20 years
What is
ago.
the money?
Huh?
What do you call it, all bonds?
You got all your bonds and everything that they've got to put up to do that. You got your water, that's the reason we haven't put up the subdivision, because they can't get the water.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
In regards to that? So I know that we can't stop a 35-acre subdivision. Like, right? So basically, if I own 1,000 acres, I can divide
Split it
that
up in
into
35
35 acres, and I only have to go through the planning department.
Really?
To me, that's not right. Somehow, they should have, I think it's a missed opportunity for us to be able to tell the community what's going on. So basically, they go split it up, they take their plot plan up to the assessor's office, and why should I have to pay for subdividing land, but this guy doesn't?
Well,
I have to permit it, but this guy
the
doesn't.
state does not give us any power to regulate 35-acre subdivisions.
Because it's still, it's one well per 41 acres, so it all.
Right. But still, I would think that the county could say, we still need a plat map, we still need this, I'm not getting any of that. So the subdivision that's going on by just up from the landfill, I have no information on. And then I get a call from a realtor wanting to know if she can put her sign along with the subdivision sign when she sells them. We're talking a huge sign. And I had people calling, what's going on over here? What's going on over here? I don't know.
We don't know. I mean,
There's gotta be,
state regs don't give us any power over 35 acres.
I know we can't
Well,
stop
but
it.
we could put something in the plan to have to require a plat plan
And a permit.
and a permit.
Why would they not have to come in and permit it so we can make sure there's drainage? I know that we can't stop them from dividing it.
So you mean that 35 acres that says premium on neighbor could become a subdivision?
No.
I'm 17 ranch.
No. It's bigger. It's more like 1,000 acres can get subdivided into 35 acre lots.
Okay, well, that makes it.
Like what they did in Centennial.
Like what they do in Centennial.
Okay.
I mean, the end around is, if I own that, I'd sort off 4 35-acre lots, sell them, sort off another 4 35-acre behind the river subdivision.
Right.
I mean.
Well, I mean, and it's not really just to stop it, it's more just so that the county has a plan, has a map,
I'm just trying to.
so they know what's going on.
Oh, sure, I mean, I see the reason.
Yeah, I know what you, yeah.
But I see the whole big end around.
Yeah, they're gonna do it just so you can't.
Well, then they should have, to me, they should have to permit anytime they're gonna subdivide land. And if for no other reason, then we have that, we start building those parcels, everything's going along as it should. Because they're getting assigned to parcels, numbers, they're getting everything, all of the benefits that a little lot would get. We're doing all the work ourselves in the assessor's office.
And getting paid for it, basically.
They're not paying for nothing.
Well, it would just be that at any point in time that a piece of property had 35 acres peeled off of it, you'd need to get all that, is what you're saying. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, okay, I got to go.
I need to too, and I was gonna say, I vote yes on the motion to adjourn, but I also second.
3:41 PM.
I was gonna say that 30 minutes ago.
Dorothy, just so I understand, what do you propose to the calendar?
For the subdivisions? Why, I just think,
Did you get a calendar?
it just shocks me that I can take my land in our county and divide it into 35 acres, and the planning and zoning department knows nothing about it. There's no process.
A subdivision application, what do you look for?
They should at least have to come in and permit each lot.
A subdivision application.
No, it's not subdivision.
Just permit to divide it.
To divide.
Is there an application for dividing land?
Probably not.
No, but we need to create one because we're now allowing the moratorium on subdivisions, smaller subdivisions
You
have,
just called it subdivision.
subdividing has been lifted.
So it's not a subdivision, it's
It's subdividing,
subdividing, which is subdivision.
right, depends on how, it's not a sub,
It's creating.
they're creating a whole subdivision.
7 o'clock.
Let me figure out how to check this off.
35 acre
Or
plus.
higher.
Or 35 plus.
So greater than or equal to 35 acres.
Right. Yeah, because they'll do the same thing, what the type of thing, they'll divide it into 40 acres, or 39.